Bam! MC is in the house. What's going on, folks? My name is Justin Garcia, also known as Master Chim, and welcome to the Warrior Stream. I am here every Wednesday at noon Eastern Standard Time, taking a topic, digging deeply, adverb, into that topic, and having a good time while doing it. I appreciate you guys joining me when you do. And today we have a pretty good topic. Let's see who's going on here. What's up, Jesse? What is up, Joe Tube? Mr. Corey, what's going on, brother man? Good to see you. We are streaming right now on a couple of Facebook pages, Instagram, X. I don't think people can comment on X, but I don't appreciate you guys watching from there as well. So motivation doesn't pay the bills. Motivation doesn't pay the bills. If you guys saw the thumbnail for today's show, it was, number one, as usual, me having fun with Midjourney. But it was 2 cups, and I was holding 2 cups in the picture. And one of them said hope, one of them said plan. And I think that when you are looking, what's up, Aaron? Good to see you. When you're looking at what it is we're trying to design our life by, too many people drink from the hope cup. Not enough people drink from the plan cup. And what do I mean by that? Well, when I first started training in SIOC, Kali, that was the first time I heard that phrase, hope is not a plan. And in my life, it has been nothing but a testament to the truth that's found in that statement. Hope is not a plan. The thing is that hope feels good. And when you have a certain amount of motivation in your life, you have the ability to have, and I've defined hope in the past as an alliance with the future. All right. So if you're somebody who believes in hope, or believes in hope as if it doesn't exist, if you're somebody who utilizes hope productively, the way that occurs is the hope opens the door to the possibility of a future. But then at some point, a plan needs to take effect. Now, sometimes the plan could be as simple as can be, and the plan is simply move, right? Another one of my sayings, movement is mandatory. Well, if you're somebody who is a master of preparation, you and somebody who does absolutely nothing basically get the same amount of stuff accomplished. Being prepared for something is not actually getting anything done. And that is where some people sort of miss the boat. I think it was Zig Ziglar that said motivation is like bathing. That's why we recommend it daily. And his intention in that statement was to convey the fact that motivation isn't something that's going to sustain you necessarily. It's not even something that lasts. I know a lot of people who are very, very well accomplished in many different fields without ever necessarily building a relationship with hope. They pretty much just woke up and wanted to do some stuff. I don't know about you guys, but I know people who wake up. There was one of my good friends, my man Chainsaw. Shout out to Chainsaw. It's his nickname. It's not his actual given birth name. Could have been. It would have fit. And Chainsaw, whenever we would go on contracts, part of STG, Psych Tactical Group, whenever we go on contracts, Chainsaw would be the first one up in the morning. And I used to bust his chops. That's what I do. And I used to tell him he had pioneer energy, like that. Like that's the energy. Like he'd wake up and he'd just get to work. And that's the energy that sort of settled the West and established America as the country it is. Certainly not the energy you see with most people today. But there is something to be said for just getting going and just moving. And the thing about hope, especially in the confines, the trappings of this aquarium of a reality we have, society being the aquarium that it is, there will be people who will find a way to sustain themselves to some extent on selling the idea of hope, right? So if we start with that basic premise, the one that I shared earlier that I first heard from SIOC, hope is not a plan. The reason that statement has value is because the distinction has value. It's because people are confusing the two. That's why you even make the statement, right? Some people think that to hope for something to have the energy that comes with building this alliance with the future, they think that that's actually an accomplishment. And we have to sort of develop that pragmatic side of our mindset that at the end of the day, we measure the results of what it is that we've done. Feeling great about potential is the equivalent to not feeling anything at all. It is just as useless. There's not a lot of value in feeling really excited about something you have not done. But the thing is, it's not also to throw the baby out with the bathwater. We don't want to discredit the value or ignore the value of hope as well. Because sometimes hope is the only thing that gets us moving, and therein lies the inherent value of it. If you are somebody who is not motivated, you're lethargic, you're starting to check the boxes of depression or all the other, the woe is me type labels that are put on people. If you're somebody whose state and frequency start to decrease to the point where you start slowing down, you don't want to do anything, absolutely you need to find a way to motivate yourself. Motivate, when you start looking at the cognates of motivate, you have motion, movement, and that is what it's supposed to do. But we don't need to be motivated in ways that necessarily pertain to what it is that we're going to pursue. Like, what do I mean by that? You will have people, what's up, Jamie? Big Jack, good to see you, Jack. Willie, what's up? Cassettas, what's up, brother man? Good to see you. Sometimes we think that there is value, maybe even a sense of accomplishment or an actual amount of accomplishment that's done when we almost poetically design a motivation that's connected to what it is we're going to do. Sometimes you will hear your favorite song, it will put you in a good mood, and you will go and do whatever it is you are going to do at the best of your ability. Simply because this song, right, this mechanism of achieving a high state, another way to put it, has just given you the lion's share of your capability, and you use that level of capability in driving the outcome where you directed it. So when we are about hope, understand that the tools we could use to build the energy don't even necessarily need to connect with the thing that we're going to do. What they need to connect with is us and bringing us to a higher state. So if you're somebody who, and I've said this before, I've used the example of the buddy of mine who I ran into a few years back, who I had grown up with. I had it was never really a close friend of mine, but it was somebody that I knew from the neighborhood, somebody that played basketball with me growing up in the park, in the local park. And I ran into him some years later. I'm in my, maybe mid 30s. So this is 10, 15 years ago. And I asked him what was going on. I asked him, now mind you, this guy was never necessarily like, I don't think anybody ever said, oh, this guy's going places, like maybe to the bus stop, maybe back to his mother's house where he probably still lives to this day. And I don't even say that to denigrate them. I mean, it's not the best light that I'm putting him in, but the idea of it is this isn't somebody that I had a high level of expectation when I had this sort of, hey, let's catch up moment, about running into him in my old neighborhood. And he brought up this idea that he was going to open up a sneaker store. And it was, oh yeah, so wait, what's going on? And I've never shared his name, not relevant. But it's like, hey, good to see you. What have you been up to? What's going on? And he said that he was about to open. I'm about to open this sneaker store. That's great. Sneaker stores are a great business. Whereabouts are you going to open it? This is in the Bronx, right? And I'm not sure yet. I might go over here. I might do it over here. All right. Now, at this point, when he said he was going to open up a sneaker store, I pretty much knew he was full of shit. But this is the game that people play. And this is sort of like a hope conversation. It's where most people that he runs into, he shares his sneaker store idea, and they're going to share some comparable bullshit story about something they're going to do in the future, right? The alliance with the future. And they both have this hope-filled conversation. They both feel better about themselves. They walk away in better states without having ever accomplished anything as a result of that conversation. So that's the problem, right? So when we have these rituals that bring us into a bigger state, getting us into a higher state is the sole value of it. But when we're in a higher state, it is giving us the lion's share of our capability to go and apply it somewhere. Without the other side of that equation, it's just as useless as not doing anything at all. Right? If you had, let's say you are camping with a buddy, and the buddy, you guys have a campfire, it's freezing at night, and you guys, hey, tonight I'll take care of the fire. Tomorrow night you take care of the fire, meaning all night, you're designated somebody to put the logs on the fire every few hours. And the night comes where it's your buddy's job, right? And middle of the night, you wake up, the fire's out, and your buddy's sleeping. And you wake him up, and you're like, what the fuck? It's freezing. How come you let the fire go out? We're going to try and start the fire now. It's freezing, whatever. At no point are you going to accept a story about his relationship with his job that is going to trump the fact in your mind that he did not do it. There is no story he's going to give you that's going to make you any warmer. But becoming warmer would have been the outcome had he done his job. So if he's saying, well, I was dreaming about being in a warm place, or I discovered the way to solve this problem at home, that's been bothering me for months. Like, nobody gives a fuck about that while we're freezing in the middle of the night because he didn't do his job. So there needs to be an expectation of an outcome that could be measured when we talk about the value of what our motivations are. If you are motivated to accomplish nothing, what is the value of your motivation? Right? And there's a couple of different sides to this, or components, links in the chain, I guess we could say. If you're somebody who's not capable of anything to begin with, anything valuable, then sure, this is, obviously an abstract. If one was not capable of anything valuable, then no matter how you motivated them, it would be just as useless. So we have to have some capability. But then when we talk about the motivation that leads to the hope, right? It's now connecting the energy that we're feeling in that moment to what the expected outcomes are based on our capabilities that gives hope any value to begin with. But if there is not an outcome, meaning if you're not getting anything done, who gives a shit if you're in a good mood? And I think it's that accountability that these days we lack, right? So the name of this talk, I decided to title it Motivation Doesn't Pay the Bills. In a past email, I don't know if it was yesterday's email, the day before that. I could probably find it really quickly. But in this conversation, I'm going to find it really quickly. This is from yesterday's email. Go to masterchim.com and sign up for my free emails if you don't get them. But in yesterday's email, I wrote, if your life has no balance, you'll reduce it to one that fits into your bubble of arrogant insecurity, where control freaks get to play master of their universe. When it comes to money, by the way, it turns out that it's not the abundance that creates happiness, but it's deficiency that creates stress and anxiety. In other words, balance in one's life has a minimal functional budget. So what am I trying to convey there? If you're somebody who does not, at the end of the day, have something to show for your efforts, then what is the value of that day? String enough of those together, what is the value of your alliance to the people that you're connected to? Whenever you are in a group, right? I think you've heard the saying, Jan Saxon, what's up? Derek, what's up? Johnny Groove, what's up, brother man? If you guys have ever heard the saying, and you probably have, it's attributed to Jim Rohn, that you are the sum total of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Another way to look at that, phenomenon is you will always regress to the mean of the people around you. Meaning, if everybody if there are 10 people and each one of them throwing their money together has $100, everybody's going to be valued at $10 each. Doesn't matter if one guy has 9, one guy has nothing, one guy has 2, one guy has 13. It's like the sum total, everybody's going to regress to the mean in terms of their outputs. Now, sometimes you will have a very high energy, super motivated, high state group that accomplishes nothing. And it begs the question then, what is the value of having all of this hope and motivation if there is no outcome that is worth anything, objectively? But then you'll have these people who will accomplish tremendous things during the course of a day, yet they are as miserable as anybody could be. So obviously this isn't a game of extremes. As I'm the guy that I'm always advocating for balance, and this is another example of that. It's sure you want to be in a good mood, but that good mood better be worth something in the real world. If you're somebody who's in a great mood, or somebody, sometimes you get these people who are pretty much fucking useless adults. It's a mystery that here they are in their 30s, let's say, maybe even 40s, and you don't even know how they stop breastfeeding at some point because they're so dependent on everybody around them. And you get somebody like that, and they say to you, I'm in a really bad mood today. My take is always like, who cares? Like, what are we losing by you being in a bad mood? It's like, if you're in a bad mood, you're just as useless as when you're in a good mood. And again, that is maybe a little harsh, whatever, but it is the take that I have when I'm looking at somebody who has no capabilities. What is the value of you being in a good mood if your output is the same whether you're in a good mood or a bad mood? Useless people find themselves in that dilemma. So then it's become, well, number one, it's like, yeah, we got to become capable, right? We got to have the skills that pay the bills, right? And then after we have that level of capability, and these things can happen and be developed concurrently, but along with the skills that pay the bills comes the motivation, comes the hope, comes those rituals, those tools, those mechanisms to keep us at our best. If we're capable of 100% of our capability units, being in a good state will get as much of that 100% as we can muster. Being in a bad mood, you get somebody that is 100 capability units, put them in a bad mood, maybe they're showing up with 20. Maybe they're showing up with 10. Right? So being in a good state is obviously something we want to stay connected to. Right? So let me see if there are any comments, questions. If you guys have any questions, do that. That is what I wanted to get out today. I guess I'll use this moment to go over some housekeeping. If you guys have not checked any of the links down in the description, please do so. Aside from my free Master the 24-Hour Cycle program, anybody that's on here, has anybody on here gone through it? And give me some feedback if you have it. But to date, it's my most successful. And I say successful, I measure that by how many people have given me positive feedback. I use that program every single day. Right now, I don't dare move this camera and fuck everything up, but I have this monitor right next to me. Let me see if I can move the monitor. Nope, that's not happening. So I have this big monitor that has my entire schedule on it. I am very, very adamant about maintaining my daily rituals. And the Master of the 24-Hour Cycle is the entire program that I follow on a daily basis. Just about every program that I've ever made, every training that I've made, whether it's business or mindset driven, All of it comes from my framework and process that was developed from a time in my life where I was deficient and fucking it up, right? So Master the 24-Hour Cycle is certainly a testament to that. Joe Tube writes, mental fortitude seems to be in short supply. And I like the phrase mental fortitude, the ability to maintain the integrity or the structure of one's mental capacity. There's a reason why today it's in short supply, and it's because, it's use it or lose it. And I've said this before, as society becomes more comfortable, more convenient, we will lose the ability that we have had to have developed in life when society was not making it so comfortable and convenient for us. And that's why these things that our circumstances, our surroundings are no longer organically providing, we need to ritualize to be able to maintain those capabilities. All right. Aaron writes, this is really random, but last week Jamie showed our girl the video of the conversation you guys had, and the sound look of her amazement was so cute. Daddy, it's you and Master Jim. That's awesome. Oh, that's awesome. That's right. My man, Jamie, he was, I had him on the podcast at some point a few years back. It's funny how time flies, right? But I think we'll stop it there. I think I got out what I wanted to get out. I want you guys to make sure you guys are getting the emails. If you're not getting the emails, they're usually short. I don't like when people have these daily emails that it's like, fucking 2,000 words. It's like, dude, I got shit I got to do. Even if it's valuable, it's like there's still a schedule that I need to maintain. And I'm very conscious of that when I write my emails. So check those out. They're free. You can go to masterjim.com and hook it up there. If you have not gotten Master the 24-Hour Cycle, please do so. It is free. A bunch of other links are down there, shirts and shit like that, the book. But you guys could check that out on your own. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys spending time with me every Wednesday for the time that we do. I will be here next Wednesday. And as always, brothers and sisters, and Jamie and Aaron, to your little princess as well, pressure to power.